Grannies in Trouble, the unseen crisis among over 60 women. Episode 154A. I am Rod Murphy, and this is Growing Up Poor in Irish Boston, a series of my 1950s era Irish Boston songs, history, jokes, and stories, and never let the truth interfere with a good story. After my wonderful wife died, and after 6 months of my grieving, I began to miss the company of a woman. So I tried dating sites, but I was not ready to form a relationship then. I met many over 60 women, and among other things that I learned was how unprepared for old age many of those women were. Not all, of course, but at least 50% of the women that I met were woefully unprepared. The following are some real-life problems for financially insecure, mature women that I have met and dated since I have become a widower. Not all of the women that I met had such financial difficulties. These were the hard cases. Names and some details have been changed. T.S., divorced and working full-time despite her chronic back and foot pain that sometimes left her unable to walk in the mornings. She was a long-time waitress and raised her children as a single mother. Her Social Security provided only $778 per month. She told me she cannot quit working because it's impossible to live on Social Security. Her rent is $600 a month, and with that she cannot afford either a TV or a cell phone. J.M. was 64, went through an acrimonious divorce in which she received child care alimony only. Very difficult life. Her kids had grown and moved on. She had ongoing health problems and built very little Social Security credit. Still, she was upbeat and we got along well. Her health problems ended our friendship. Dee was born in Europe, but had become an American citizen. She was divorced and worked all her life, so she was able to buy a condo. Social Security and the sale of her condo allowed enough for her to live just above subsistence. She moved to another state, ending our relationship. S.H. faced foreclosure on her home after a late life divorce left her without a retirement plan. Her ex-husband had a 401k. Plus her job dried up during a recession, leading her to sell some of her possessions just to survive. She was living with friends the last I heard. Another observation I have made is that older women who never married and never had children age alone and are often the most disaffected financially and health-wise. The following related quote is from a writer called Sophie Grenham regarding the phenomenon of caretaking after a medical procedure. I put this question to the nurse looking after my mother. What if you had no one at all? What if you had no family and your friends are busy, or you alienated them all years ago? How would you get a caretaker? What then? Yes, what then, says I. Being friendless and tribeless and old is a fairly fresh option, and it would have meant certain death not so long ago. But modernity has liberated us, so-called. We can do without the family. Respect for individual liberty demands it. In fact, no longer shall the father lord over his children and his wife. No longer shall the child saddle his parents with demands for food, shelter, and love. Just think of all the women free to take advantage of that kind of thinking in their peak earning years, unburdened by kids. The only trouble is what to do when those childless peak earners, when they get old and sick and slow down. So yes, grannies in trouble in Boston and in America. There are reasons why those mature women were financially unprepared. In order for anyone to save and invest money for old age and also to contribute enough to Social Security or a pension, one needs a yearly income above the subsistence level. If she gets divorced or if she becomes a widow, then that could result in barely subsistence income. Why? Despite what the crazy feminists spout, men and women are very different. Most women are dependent, at least partially, throughout their lives on their usually higher income husbands. Plus, women naturally need to spend more time tending to children and to their family's household duties. That ends up keeping them from earning enough income to sock away for retirement and also limits their Social Security credit later. On average, women live about 5 years longer than men. That means they rely on Social Security for a longer period, exacerbating the problem. Also, many women need to take Social Security earlier, and that reduces their monthly benefits. It's possible to claim benefits as early as age 62. However, every year you wait increases your monthly payments by 8% per year, maxing out at age 50. Given women's longer life expectancy, patience, if possible, pays off. Long-term health care is one of the most significant costs for older adults. It ranges from assistance with activities like bathing and getting dressed to medical care in a skilled nursing facility. Over half of adults 65 and older will need these services for short terms, and about 1 in 7 will require care for more than 5 years. In 2023, the median yearly cost of a home health aide was $75,000 a year, and a private room in a nursing home was $17,000 annually. Greater Boston stands out regarding financial distress for older women. Many seniors cannot meet basic needs in Massachusetts due to the high cost of living. Older women are significantly worse off, with 74% of the bottom third in income. Amazingly, 20% of women over 65 rely on Social Security for almost all of their income. High Massachusetts expenses make it difficult for anyone to afford both housing and the other necessities, like health care, but especially for your grandmother. 12% of American women 55 and over live in poverty, according to a Statista research publication. The poverty gap for women shows up during their childbearing years and then grows again in old age. Women's Social Security benefits average about 20% less than men's, as I said before, due to lower lifetime earnings and career breaks. Average monthly benefits have historically been lower for women. Some data shows women getting $1,600 a month compared to $2,000 a month for men. Also, longer lifespans stretches granny's limited resources. Social Security isn't just another item on your financial checklist. For women especially, it's often the cornerstone for a secure retirement. The Social Security Administration reports that nearly 55% of Social Security benefit recipients are women. And for many, it's their primary source of retirement income. Unlike investments that can lose value when the market drops, Social Security provides a guaranteed income that adjusts for inflation and generally lasts as long as you live. That reliability makes it valuable for helping to address two major retirement risks: rising costs and the possibility of outliving your savings. The bottom 20% of Americans 60 and older, which is 15 million households, have no assets, and many are in credit card debt and other debt. This median income for that coterie was $18,000 in 2020. Almost 90% of them had household incomes below that median. Despite older adults' preference to age in their home, 60% are unable to pay for 2 years of in-home long-term health services. Another factor causing Granny to struggle financially is housing costs, particularly in Greater Boston. Episode 154B will explore that problem. This is Rod Murphy. Thank you for viewing or listening to my YouTube and podcast episodes. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed them, please hit the subscribe button. Does not cost you anything, and it helps me to grow my audience. Again, my thanks.